So welcome to chapter 3. Hopefully you've had lots of practice in chapter 1 and 2. Make sure that you feel comfortable in idle. Now I've already opened up the idle shell. So once again, we need to file and open. And I'm going to look for my file here that I saved as chapter 2. So I have that in here. And there's my chapter2.py. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete all of that that's in there because we don't need anything from chapter 2 in chapter 3. And I'm going to do a save as. And I'm going to call this one chapter 3. And I'm going to save that. Okay, so in this chapter, we're actually going to look at lists, tuples, and dictionaries. Now don't be afraid because we're going to go through what each of those are and we will cover that. We're going through the book. This is chapter 3. If you don't have the book yet, then you may want to purchase it. You can actually get an ebook, or you can get a paperback, or you can get a hardcover. So you can get any one of those 3 formats. You get it from Amazon and the link is below. So what are lists? That's the first question. A list is an ordered collection of items. Items in a list are stored in a specific sequence and you can access them using their position. And the position is called an index, so it allows you to index across the list. Now it's important that in Python and many programming languages actually, indexing starts at 0, not 1. That means the first item in the list has an index of 0. And the second item has an index of 1, and so on. So for a demonstration, what we're going to do is we're going to create a list of numbers. And I'm just going to bring this over into the middle. So remember, when we create any kind of variable, we can just say numbers. That's the name of our list. And it's going to equal, and then for lists, we use a square bracket. And for numbers, we don't have to put any quotes, so we're just going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, and close those square brackets. And you'll notice idle highlights everything and shows you that you've actually closed your brackets. So then what we're going to do is we're going to print the first item in the list. So we're going to say print. And remember, with print, it's a function, so we use our brackets. And then this is text I'm printing out, so I'm going to print the first item. And I'm going to say brackets, index 0, brackets, cool. Close that. So that's the string that's going to come out. And then I'm going to use a comma. I'm going to put numbers. Remember, the first item in the list is item 0. And I just want to close my brackets for my print statement. And so that's going to print my first item. So what we'll do is we'll just run that one just to make sure that everything looks good. And so I'm going to go to run and run module. Remember, we can press F5 if we want to run it. And when we say that, it's going to ask us, do we want to save it? Because you have to save it before you can run it. So I've done that. First item, index 0, 10. Going to close that. Then I'm going to go print. And now I'm just going to go through them all. And second item, which is index 1, and we're just putting numbers, so it's numbers from the list and item 1 in the index, and then we'll run that and see what that looks like. Run, say OK. Second item is 20. We know that's correct because our list is 10, 20, 30, and 40. And now we want to print the last item in the list. So there's a special way to do that. So we just say print, say last item. So you really don't have to print this text if you didn't want to, but it just helps you to understand what you're actually printing out. So this is going to be index -1, and then I'm just going to say quotes and then numbers -1 close brackets. And then so that -1 is a special way of being able to reach the end of the list. So negative numbers go from the end of the list. So we should see 40. So what would happen if we said list item index -2? Let's go ahead and let's see what that would do. I'm just going to change this one. I'm going to type the whole thing out again. I'm going to change that. I'm going to say -2. What do you expect to see? So let's run it. And of course it's 30 because basically we're counting backwards from the end. -1 is the last item. -2 is the second to last item. Okay, so we know how to traverse a list. And then we can add new items to the list as well. So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to say numbers dot append, and I'm going to put 50 on the list. So what that's going to do is it's going to append 50 to the list. So what we want to do after that is we then want to print our last item again. So I'm just going to copy this one line. I'm going to paste it down here. I'm going to change it back so it prints the last item. And then I'm going to run that. And now you can see the last item is 50 once we changed it. Now the second to last item is still 30 because why? Let's go and look at that. So at this point we hadn't added 50, so the second to last item was 30. Once we add 50, now the last item is 50 because we've added 1 to the end of that list. Okay, if I were you, I would play with that a little bit. And now we can print the whole list and just take a look at that. So let's say print, and we're going to say numbers, just to verify that that 50 is on our list. So I'm going to run that one. I'm just going to use the F5 button. There's our list, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And now we can remove a number. So I'm going to say numbers.remove. And I'm going to say 20. I'm actually removing the number 20. Then I'm just going to print it out again just to verify it. Print. I'm just going to print numbers. We're going to run it. And there you see our original list was 10, 20, 30, 40. Now our list is 10, 30, 40, 50. Now what we should do is create a list of strings. So we can create food items and we're going to put those in a list. So let's try that. So if we wanted to do a new list and we call it food, actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all this other stuff because we don't need all that. Well, and it'll keep printing all that out. So I'm going to say food equals, I'm going to say eggs, butter, and of course you can't have a list of food without bacon. So I'm going to add bacon. So that's my list of food. And then I want to print, of course I want to print the third item in my list. So remember that we start at item 0. So if we say print, I'm going to say the third item in the list is, and then we're going to say food, And we're going to put, so 0 is the first item, 1 is the second item, and 2 is going to be the third item. I'll close my quotes over there, or we're going to have a problem. And these need to be square brackets. And then close my brackets. Okay, let's give that a try. Third item in the list is bacon. So with strings, we quote the strings in double quotes or single quotes and separate them by commas. Okay, so practice with lists, do a few more of those, and try accessing the lists with different numbers so you can take things off the list. Now let's talk about tuples. What is a tuple? A tuple is an ordered collection, just like a list. You can't modify it after you've created it. So you use tuples when you need a fixed set of values. So here's how a tuple works. Basically, what we're going to do, I'm going to delete my list over here again. And we're going to do days of the week as a good example of why you'd use a tuple, because days of the week doesn't change. Days underscore of week, and it equals, and I'm just going to put them all in. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Try not to create any issues with your typing. And notice that my tuples are in brackets, not square brackets. And similar situation to a list. With strings, we quote them. And then we're going to say print. And we want the first day. And the same thing. Days underscore of underscore week. And our index is going to be 0. And then we're going to run that just to see, make sure everything runs. First day, Monday. And then we can print the last day, of course, using the same methodology as we used in the list. So if we said last day, it's going to equal days of the week minus 1. So we should see Monday and Friday. And there it is. So very simple to go back and forth, same situation. And we should try modifying the tuple, and it's going to cause an error. So if you try to add or delete or do anything with the tuple, it's going to cause an error. Now try creating a tuple with the names of 3 cities you'd like to visit. Print the first city using its index. And try to change one of the cities to observe what happens. So you're going to just cause errors if you try and change it. Tuples are immutable. You can't change them. Okay, so let's talk about dictionaries. What are dictionaries? A dictionary stores data as key value pairs. Each key is unique and it's used to retrieve its corresponding value. So dictionaries are great for looking up data quickly. So a demonstration of that is how we'd work with a dictionary. And I'm going to just delete what we have on the screen again because we don't need that now. And so we're going to say person equals, and this is brackets. And I guarantee the things that are going to catch you out with tuples and lists and dictionaries is going to be when to use which brackets. So more practice is better. So name, and then we use a colon. And then we put the actual name in. So this one is Alice. And then we're going to do age, and a colon. And because this is an integer, I don't need to quote it. 30 in this case. And then city, colon. And we're going to say New York. Close my curly braces. So we have Alice, who is 30 in New York. And we have 3 entries in our dictionary: name, age, and city. Now what we're going to do is print dictionary word in quotes. And this one is going to be person. Close my quotes. And I'm going to run that. Again, I'm going to use F5. Run that. And we see dictionary is name, Alice, age 30, city, New York. Perfect. And then we're going to print just name. And the way we index this is person. And we pick out name. You can quote that. Name. Square bracket. And then we're going to run that again just to see. We should get Alice. Name is Alice. Perfect. Then, of course, we can go through and we can print out the age and the city in the same way, but this time we're indexing by a keyword instead of indexing by its position in a list. Now, if we want to add a new key value pair, we can say person and then pick that new keyword, which is going to be job, and it equals Alice is going to be an engineer. And then we're going to print, and I'm just going to say after quotes, after adding job, person. And of course, when I print person, it prints the whole dictionary. So let's try that. Once again, we're going to hit F5. Oh, and I had an error there, so my bracket was never closed. And that's because I didn't close it over here. So there we go. Closed it. And now after adding job, we've got Alice. Name is Alice. Age is 30. City is New York. Job is engineer. So it's updated. And then if we want to remove a key value pair, we can use the del person, square brackets, and I'm going to remove city out of there. Then I'm going to print the whole dictionary again. So we're going to go F5. And now you see I have the dictionary with name, Alice, age 30, job, engineer, and there's no city anymore because we delete. So dictionaries give you a very easy way to access data using a key value pair. So as long as you know the key, you can pull out what the value is. And so you should create a dictionary to store information about your favorite movie, add a new key value pair. For instance, you can add the year and the genre, the title of the movie. And then you should try removing one key value pair and print the updated dictionary, and then print the value of one of the keys. So just say, print year, maybe print title on year. That would be good. And just try it and see how you get on with that. Now remember, if you try it and you get some errors, you can always go back and review the video or take a look back in the book and you'll find the answer to what's going on. I guarantee the issues primarily are going to be forgetting brackets, whether the shape of the bracket or whether you close the bracket. Those are the things that usually catch you out. Also quoting things. Make sure if you quote something that you quoted both sides of it, or that you actually quoted it. And you notice when I was typing a number of times I forgot to start the quotes. So you need to just make sure that you're doing that. So that's basically it for this chapter. And you've learned lists are stored, ordered, changeable collection of data, tuples, store, ordered, unchangeable collection of data. And then the dictionary is stored data as key value pairs, making it easy to look them up and manipulate them. So you don't have to know what order they're in. You just have to know what the key is. So next step, in the next chapter, we're going to explore control structures such as loops and conditionals, and we're going to make the programs more dynamic and interactive. We'll get it to be a little bit more useful in terms of being able to change the process flow. So if you're enjoying the series, please give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll get all the videos. And then also, if you haven't bought the book, I'd appreciate it if you did buy the book, whether it's an ebook or a paperback or the hard copy. It all helps to keep me moving along and keep providing this content. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.